Dear all, welcome to Learn, Unlearn and Relearn, an online program in chemistry. I'm excited to have you in the class and look forward to your contributions in the learning process. I thank God for giving me this opportunity to do something at the cause of education.
Dear all, welcome back to this course on asymmetric synthesis. I'm very happy to meet you all once again. You are learning through InfoLich, Learn, Unlearn and Relearn. On completion of this module, you will learn to illustrate asymmetric synthesis, apply Cram's rule and Prelog's rule, analyze the Felkin-Hahn modification, develop the skill of solving problems in asymmetric synthesis. In our earlier video, we understood what is Cram's rule and we also understood what is Felkin-Hahn modification. Now in this video, we will try to analyze the Felkin-Hahn modification in a deeper context. And we know that in many cases there are addition of an organometallic reagent to a ketone or an aldehyde with an existing chiral center alpha to the carbonate. If you look into this molecule, we already have a chiral center. So we already have a chiral center, there is an existing chiral center, and we are trying to attack this carbonyl carbon with a nucleophile, and in this case the nucleophile is methyl, and we end up with two products. One will be a syn product, the other one will be an anti product. When an organometallic reagent attacks the carbonyl carbon, we end up with both syn and anti diastereomeric products, but only one of the product is predominant, and the predominant product is always predictable, and the model used to predict is called as the Felkin-Hahn model. Assuming that there isn't an unusually electronegative atom on the carbonyl next to the carbon next to the carbonyl carbon, the largest group prefers a conformation where it is perpendicular to the carbonyl carbon. So earlier case we were drawing the structure. Earlier case we were drawing the structure like this. So we had our R group here, we had our large group here, and we had our medium group here, and we had our small group here. So the same structure we are trying to draw in this way. So this is also another way of drawing the same structure, where we have our phenyl group perpendicular to the carbonyl carbon, we have our medium group at the top and our small group at the bottom. Now if we rotate this carbon 180 degree, we end up with another conformation where we have the phenyl group on the left hand side and we have the small group at the top and medium group at the bottom. Now, according to Falkenhayn model, we end up with two relatively competitive lowest energy conformation with the medium and small groups differing in their proximity to the carbonyl oxygen. Not surprisingly, the nucleophile prefers to attack away from the larger group according to Falkenhayn model. So you can see here the attack takes place from the side of the small group. So there are two possibilities. The attack can happen from this direction or the attack can happen from this direction to this carbonyl. But since this group is a medium sized group, the nucleophile prefers to attack from the side of the small group at a Bürgi-Dunitz angle. Therefore, the nucleophile attacks from this side. Now, when the nucleophile attacks from this side, we see the OH group is pushed towards this side. So this is your nucleophile and we have our hydrogen, right? Okay. Now there are two possibilities for the nucleophile to attack the nearest to the small group or for it to attack nearest to the medium group. The nearer to the small group attack is preferred and therefore one diastereomer is only preferred. Now we have to keep this in mind. In most cases the large group will be the part of the main chain in the product and the incoming nucleophile will be on the other end of the main chain. In these cases the major diastereomer will be a syn diastereomer. So according to the Falkenhayn model, we need to understand that when the attack takes place from the smaller side, we end up with a syn diastereomer. Now let us learn how to convert this particular Newman projection into a wedge representation. You see, the attacking nucleophile methyl and the larger group phenyl on the other carbon, they are anti to each other. So they are anti to each other, and you can see this methyl group and this OH group are syn to each other, and therefore we convert this Newman projection into this form. Now this conversion process will be of greater help when you try to solve problems. We will look that in detail. We can look that in detail in the later course. And you can see here the attack has taken place from the smaller side, from the side of the smaller group, and we end up with a syn product. Now if the attack would have taken place from the other way, so let us see how it would have happened. So if the attack has taken place from the other side, let me go to this. If the attack had taken place from the other side, we would have ended up with this product. See, I am taking this particular model. So the attack has happened. Therefore, I will put my nucleophile here. So I have my nucleophile here. I have my OH group here. I have my hydrogen here. I have my phenyl group here. I have my hydrogen here. Sorry. Okay, so I have my hydrogen here and I have my methyl here, and now we can see my phenyl group and my nucleophile are anti to each other. My phenyl group and my methyl are anti to each other, and my OH and my methyl are also anti to each other. Therefore, this product is what we call it as an anti product. So two possibilities, either you can end up with a syn diastereomer or an anti diastereomer, but in this case the molecule prefers to form a syn diastereomer. Once again I will repeat the same phenomenon. So we have a molecule here where the nucleophilic attack is going to take place. The nucleophile here is the methyl group, and the nucleophile attacks this particular carbon. It results in the formation of a new asymmetric center. This molecule can have two stable conformation, but the most preferred conformation is something different. So it can have two stable conformation where the carbonyl group is perpendicular to the phenyl group, but the nucleophile prefers to attack using this particular conformation, and when it prefers to attack, we end up with a syn product. When the nucleophile attacks from the opposite direction, we end up with an anti product. So please remember, your nucleophile and the phenyl group, they run or they remain in the largest carbon chain, and they are anti to each other. Let us try to evaluate another situation. Now what happens when the carbon bear atoms like oxygen, nitrogen or sulfur? Now the first thought will be that the nucleophile prefers to attack from the side opposite to the electronegative group. Yes, and if this attack takes place, so when the nucleophile attacks from the side opposite to the electronegative group, you can see this particular group will be pushed up, this oxygen will be pushed up, and therefore you end up with a Felkin-Hahn product. And again this attack takes place again through a Bürgi-Dunitz angle. Now this would be true only when the reagent does not have an additional complexing site. For example, in sodium borohydride, the sodium ion cannot form a bivalent complex. On the other hand, when we use a zinc borohydride, so see this happens in a sodium borohydride, NaBH4. Now when we have a zinc borohydride, this could lead to a divalent chelation complex between the carbonyl oxygen and the electronegative atom. So the metal can form a chelating complex. Now this is called a Cram chelation complex, which leads to a Cram chelation product. And now when that happens, you can see here there is going to be a difference in the stereochemistry of the products. Okay, let us take the first situation where there is an electronegative atom or group at the site alpha to the carbonyl group, and there is a slight change. Now for the purpose of this course, we will limit the electronegative group only to halogens or 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 NR2 or SR groups. This slight change is that the electronegative group now becomes equivalent of the large group in the Felkin-Hahn model. You can see here, so the nucleophile prefers to attack from the site opposite to that of the electronegative group and resulting in the Felkin-Hahn product. Now the reason for this is that the energy of the carbon halogen sigma star antibonding orbital is rather low, and so it overlaps with the pi star of the carbonyl to make a new lower energy LUMO orbital, lower unoccupied molecular orbital. And what this really means is that this conformational arrangement is more reactive than any other. In our earlier Felkin-Hahn model, we found that this place was occupied by a larger group. Now when the carbonyl carbon contains an electronegative group, this place is going to be occupied by the electronegative group. So with this change in mind, the Felkinand type addition now proceeds as before. Now what that tends to mean that in most cases the medium group ends up being part of the product's main chain, and most often this means that the anti-diastereomer is the one that is formed. Now I take up this molecule where I have a carbonyl group, hydrogen, and I'm gonna treat it with my butyl lithium. So butyl group is my nucleophile. Now when the attack takes place, now we have to carefully draw the Felkinand model where my electronegative group lies perpendicular to the carbonyl carbon. I have my medium group, I have my small group. Again, this particular molecule can have two transition states, and this particular transition state is preferred. So when my nucleophile attacks the carbonyl carbon, you can see here I have my butyl group here, so I have my OH here, so my OH will be pushed, and I have my hydrogen here, and now you can see my butyl group and my N dimethyl group are anti to each other. Okay, so they are anti to each other. Okay. And a diastereomeric product is formed. So this is my OH. So you can see here my OH and my N dimethyl group, they are anti to each other. Okay, so I'm just redrawing this structure. So when I redraw this structure, okay, so I end up with an anti-diaster.